Hi, this is Kevin Robertson, Executive Director of the Kansas Dental Association, and this is a KDA Video Minute for Thursday, January 14th. Well, this is our first Video Minute of 2010. We haven't done a Video Minute for a while, but as the legislative session moves forward, we will try to do one weekly to keep you informed as to what's going on with the legislature. The legislature did convene in Kansas this past Monday, January 11th, and as we do every year, the Kansas Dental Association provided all the legislators and the legislative staff with a toothbrushing kit, including a toothpaste, floss, mouthwash, and what have you. It's always very well received by legislators and their staff, and it only costs us $2.11 per pack to do that. So it's very cost effective, and it's really something that legislators look forward to, and they tell us that as we deliver them. So that's been done. With that, of course, Monday night was the State of the State address, but delivered by Governor Mark Parkinson. And for those of you that might have watched that, it was most people, Republican and Democrats alike, thought it was one of the most passionate State of the State addresses delivered in quite some time. And what he talked about mostly, of course, was the Kansas budget and all the several cuts that have been made over the last 2 and 3 years. I've sat in on some budget meetings here these first couple days of the legislature, and just to give you some ideas of where we are with the budget here in the state, the budget that was approved just 3 years ago was $6.4 billion in the state of Kansas. The current budget as it stands right now, without revenue enhancements, is $5.4 billion. So that's the third, looking at really out at the fourth year in a row where revenue projections for our state economy have gone down, which is unprecedented in state history. There have been years when there's been blips where there's been a 1-year decrease in revenues. There's never even been a 2-year period where there's been a decrease in state revenues. So now as we look at a 4-year reduction in revenues, that really has legislators, certainly the governor and others, really scrambling to kind of figure out how we're going to balance this budget. Well, as you know, the governor did propose a couple tax increases to deal with some of the budget shortfalls. One of them is a 1-cent increase in the state sales tax, which would raise about a little over $300 million per year. The other increase is an increase in the cigarette tax, which would increase the cigarette tax on a pack of cigarettes from 79 cents a pack to $1.34, which would put the cigarette tax in Kansas in line with the national average. That would generate about $70 million a year. And then the combination of those two would allow some things that the KDA is certainly interested in. One of those is the restoration of the cuts that were made effective January 1 to the state Medicaid plan. As you know, there's been a 10% across the board decrease in provider reimbursement rates for Medicaid. That's not just for dentists, that's true of hospitals, pharmacies, physicians, anyone that provides Medicaid. There's been a 10% reduction. The governor's budget with the revenue enhancements does include restoration of those Medicaid rates. So that's something that we're interested in, and we'll look as that goes forward this session. Already Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, moderates are already lining up to say they support an increase. They don't support an increase. What we're seeing so far really is that really mostly Democrats are saying that they certainly support some sort of a revenue enhancement, but they don't like the sales tax. They're looking more at sales tax exemptions, which could include removing the sales tax exemption on services and things like that. And of course, dentistry enjoys that exemption. So when you bill your patient, you don't charge a sales tax. So that's one thing that will definitely be looked at, as well as perhaps even the exemption on prosthetic devices and things like that. Basically, if there's a sales tax exemption, those will all be on the board this session as the legislature discusses the revenue issue. So there'll be a lot of different issues with that, and again, we will keep you up to date, and we'd really like to know what you think about the governor's proposal and sales tax and kind of everything that's going on our website. You can take a poll on what you think of the governor's budget plans. We'd like to know whether or not you support it or don't support it. It'd be just interesting information that will help us as we work on these issues this legislative session. Of course, the big issue for the Kansas Dental Association is the cap on non-covered services. Right now, we have been working with Senator Susan Wagle, who has worked with the reviser to get a bill drafted that we put forth and have been channeled through her. I spent today working with the reviser to try to finish that bill up. And then Chairman Ruth Teichman, who chairs the Senate Committee on Financial Institutions and Insurance, has agreed to introduce that bill next week when they have introduction of bills in their committee. That will be next Tuesday. So if everything goes well, next Tuesday the bill will get introduced, and then we'll get a bill number, and then we'll know exactly what we're discussing as far as specifics when we're talking to legislators about this issue. So that's where that issue is. And then finally, I want to talk a little bit about Dental Day. Dental Day is on Thursday, February 4th. It'll be here in Topeka. Of course, Dental Day is when we have all our members come to Topeka, or as many that it can, come to Topeka and really spend a day talking with legislators about our KDA issues and how they're going to affect us. The more people we can have here on February 4th, the more legislators will be contacted, and the better information we'll get to those legislators about these important issues. Again, cap on non-covered services and how the budget's affecting us on Medicaid. So please be sure that you check your mail. You should have received something from us here since the first of the year last week. We're starting to get some registrations in, but the more we can have, the better. We'll have lunch with legislators on that Thursday, February 4th, and they like to see members and dentists or whoever from their local communities when they come over. So we really encourage you to participate this year and really make this a successful event. Of course, that information on Dental Day can be found just on the front page of our website, ksdental.org, and you can register online just right there. Now let me finish up with just a little note about the KDA Video Minute. This is the third year now, or beginning the third year of the KDA Video Minute. We've called it the KDA Video Minute because we didn't know what else to call it. So here in the office we've discussed maybe some different names. KDA Video Log, KDA 360, KDA Full Circle, KDA Video Minutes. It's kind of a joke because it's longer than a minute, as all of you know that watched me here. But we'd like your input. Would you like us to change the name? Do you have any thoughts on some different names that you think would really tell others what this is all about with what we're doing here? So we encourage you to provide that input, and we will then, after we get some different names, kind of do a survey and see what people are thinking. So we encourage you to kind of think about that and let us know what you think. We'll see you again next week with the KDA Video Minute, and we'll let you know what's going on with the Kansas legislature and other issues that affect the industry in the state of Kansas. Thanks.